All right, and if you can't see the board at some point, definitely let me know because some of you are writing on the boards today. All right, everybody. Gonna get going and get moving forward. So last week we talked a lot about having, was that last week? It feels a lot longer than that. We talked about having confidence, okay, and having confidence in yourself. You know what? I don't know if that angle is gonna work the best, but we'll try. I'll have to move out of the way so you can see. I don't know. It's called confidence. She still can't see it. It's gonna have to go right there. We're going on a journey with all the stuff on my desk. There we go. Boom. Boom. You won't get hit in the head. Okay, hopefully that's a little better. Maybe, kind of, sort of. There we go. Okay, cool. Thumb push up. All right, so we talked about confidence. Now I have this class.
Good. I don't care.
I do.
But
Obviously
circular.
did not think this through and get my office set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't cool with that. So we talked about confidence last week, and we talked about how you had to have self-belief and belief in yourself really in order to do very well in sales. So we're going to talk about the second C of closing. So, you know, we have this whole thing called closing, right? And so if you think about a customer's journey, all right, let's just say this is a funnel, okay? This is leads that are unaware. Like they have no idea we exist. They have no idea that they're in the pain they are and that we have a solution. And then at some point they become aware. Okay, this is when they click on an ad or they go to our website or they walk in the door. Just any of those, they became aware. The next step for them is make contact. This is why the call queue is so important. So, you know, when we're making contact, all we're doing is pulling them further and further down this funnel. Okay, what's the next stage after this to pull them into the funnel? What happens after we make contact? What's the goal?
Set an appointment.
There we go. All right.
Hopefully this is a trick question.
No, none of these are trick questions. Set appointment. Okay, so we set the appointment. All right, what's next?
Having
Show up
come in
to-
for your appointment.
Show.
Show up to appointment.
All right, so they need to show. What's next?
Teach lesson.
They need to do, right? They got to do the conference, the lesson, whatever, do lesson. And what's the next stage?
Become student.
Right, enroll. They're not enrolled unless what happens?
We have
They
money.
pay.
They pay. We have money. That's the final part right now. Now they are a student. Okay, so this is all trying to get them to work towards a close. Every step, so I want everybody to understand this. This is not when you close someone. Closing is a journey. Okay, so closing is a journey. Now, what I want you to think about is what kind of journey is it? Is it a journey in which they have to climb a rock, you know, mountain with ice and snow? Or is it a nice little jog down a slowly, you know, curving, winding road, and now they're there? Which one's going to be easier, the little road or climbing the mountain? The little road is going to be much easier. So every step of the journey, we want it to be smooth transition. Okay, smooth transition. Super important. The more times that they slip and cut themselves on a rock, the less likely we are to ever get them to that student. They have to have smooth transitions from one to the next. Okay, so I want everybody to write down right now, what are some things where you feel like we do not currently have smooth transitions, and what could we improve on? Somebody tell me something. Where do you feel like we don't have a smooth transition? There's a, it could be something where we're having some problems, getting people to take an action, getting them to take, you know, not take an action. Where are the clunks in the process?
To me, it's between set an appointment and show for the lesson.
Okay, so set and show. Okay, that's one. What else? So 100% of people that show for the lesson enroll.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what's the clunk?
Objections.
Okay. Objections. Anything else?
Reading process.
Okay. So
That's
this
gonna
is
be-
somewhere in that show and do. What else?
I would say the pre-frame is missing for me.
That's what,
Well,
that's
I guess
my,
that's
I guess that's my saying, we
Flash.
should
Yeah.
set appointment and show.
Pre-frame, because there's two separate pre-frames.
Like, we don't always have all their information or know. We're behind, basically.
Okay,
we're getting
Hello,
talked to
Making
before.
contact.
Right. making contact. So right here, this little part, that's a click on. What were you gonna say?
Getting follow-ups to actually answer the follow-ups.
Okay, so still in that making contact. So from aware to making contact. So there's click on. How many click lunks do we have in our sales funnel?
A lot.
All the way through.
There's many stages.
Every single stage has a challenge and has an issue. The ultimate goal is for it to be smooth sailing. But the realization is that even on a road, there's little dips and there's little hills. Now, the whole idea is to smooth it out as much as possible, but you're still going to have little dips and little hills that are going to be in
And
there.
not every single person has the click links.
No, not every single one does, which is why we constantly watch that. What is the symbol for?
Percentage.
Percentages. So we're constantly watching these percentages to see, where are the clunks happening? What's going on? How can we fix and how can we do this? This sales funnel is a live and breathing organism, and we constantly have to care for it. One of the worst mistakes that I've ever made has been going, it's done, and not watching it. Okay, it's very much like saying, here's a plant where I'm going to put it in the sun, it'll live. It won't. You have to water it, like what he found out, right?
Our orchid did.
The orchid died. So you have to water it. You have to take care of it. You have to make sure it gets the right sunlight. You have to make sure it gets the right water. You have to make sure there's no weeds. Like, it's a constant thing, like this constant living organism. So we're going to come back to what are the 2 C's of closing and how it affects this thing over here, because it does. In every single stage, it affects this one thing. So last time we talked about confidence and just overall, like what your personal beliefs are and how it impacts what you say and what you do subconsciously. And you need to be, what was the big word I used? What? I want C's a lot. Congruence. Thank you. So that you had to be congruent, right? We talked a lot about that. But this next one, the C we're going to talk about today, is conviction. Now, the thought process that I want you to understand is that conviction isn't about whether or not you believe in something, it's to the degree or extent that you believe in it. Okay, so let's just say we have like a scale here, and this is like no, doesn't work. That's your belief. No, it will never work. Like, there's no way it doesn't work. Nobody's here on that. Like, everybody believes that, our program works and that what we're selling works and all that. But over here is this other belief. Now I'm using a really extreme example. Saves lives, worth everything. Like, what's the cost of a life? Priceless. You can't put a price on it. It's undeterminable, right? So your level of conviction is somewhere along this line. And depending upon where your level of conviction is for anything you sell at all, okay? Your level of conviction, the greater your level of conviction is, the higher your percentage for getting to the next part of the sales funnel. So yes, there is something about techniques, which we're going to work on today, but there's going to be a video that I'm going to have you guys watch that I made that has to talk more about this level of the 2 C's and your level of conviction and why it's so important. But I want you to understand that when we start talking about objections, which is what we're going to talk about next, if you're somewhere down here, no technique that I give you in the world are you going to pull off. Okay? So like, let me throw this over to a fighting analogy. I can have confidence in my abilities. Everybody can have confidence in their martial arts abilities or whatever, right? But there's something totally different when you have the conviction that you must fight because you must fulfill something in your own personal journey. I've had that conviction. I must and I should and I did fight because I was convicted to do that. It was a conviction that I had. I believed in it. And ultimately, I believed that I wasn't just fighting for me. I was fighting for other people to show them that they could do it too. That was my level of conviction. I had people that were watching me and following me and still do. And without that part of my journey, I knew that would impact them the same way. So my level of conviction was really high, very, very high. Which is why when I fought, it was easy to flip the switch and go, I'm going to go in there and kick this girl's butt, right? How many other people have that same level of conviction?
I have 0. I'm at the.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't
No,
work.
it doesn't work, right? All right, so I just kind of brought that there to you. So I want everybody to understand that confidence, having confidence in your abilities, everybody can have confidence in their abilities. Like I can throw a punch, I can throw a kick, I can do this and that. But do I have the conviction that that I have to do because I must.
Confident I'm on that end.
So think about this. I want you to, underneath your word conviction, I want you to put this word must, because that's really what it is. Like when you're convicted of something, you must. Whereas if you have confidence, you have, right? Confidence, I have. Conviction, I must. Do you see the difference between the two, guys? Does everybody kind of get that? Okay, cool. All right. So we are going to go through, everybody's got this down, right? So I'm going to erase it. Okay. So next up, we are going to go through some objection training. And we're going to really work through the stages of objections and understand what we should do and how we should do it. And so for appointment setting purposes, 1, 2, and 3, you guys are going to work together in just a moment. And then 1, 2, and 3, you guys are going to work together for sales. So I'm going to split this up into 2 sides. Okay. So we got the appointments and we've got the sales. Okay. On both of these, you have this objection. What am I writing?
Need to think about it.
Need to think about it. What is this person really trying to do? Are they trying to make a decision or are they trying to delay it?
They're trying to delay it.
Why do people delay decisions?
People want committing things.
Okay. Why do they not like committing to things? Because there's a possibility of what? Failure, getting it wrong. So when everybody understand that, that's the reason why. The why, it might be the wrong decision. Okay, write that down. This is why people delay decisions. You got to understand this. So if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to work with Haley, and I'm trying to get her to understand that what's a food that you really just not a fan of?
Pickles.
Oh, I can't do that because I'm not a fan of it
Pick
either.
another vegetable.
Brussels sprouts.
I'm not a fan of that either. It's
Well,
just, look at everyone. Do you like carrots?
I don't like cooked carrots.
You don't like cooked carrots? Okay, good. I can work with you on that.
Okay.
All right. So Haley, I want you to tell me that you need to think about it when I say this next part. All right. So Haley, my mom's having dinner. She's cooking carrots. Have you ever had Southern carrots
I have.
by my mom?
No.
Okay. So I've got a question for you. Would you consider trying the carrots?
I need to think about it.
You need to think about it,
Mhm.
okay? Now, what's the standard thing that we usually say when somebody says I need to think about it?
I got you. Why is that?
Okay, so we'll like, oh, yeah, okay, why is that? Or what do you need to think about, right? So now, instead of saying that question, what do you need to think about? How could I help assure her that her trying the vegetable is not the wrong decision. In fact, it could very well be the best decision she ever made.
If you don't try it, you don't know if you'll like it.
Okay.
It may change your mind.
Okay, that's a good start. How else? What else could I say to convince her that she's not necessarily making a wrong decision?
What do you have to lose?
Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. What do you have to lose? So basically, what do we need to have? We need to have
Zero
a win-win or zero risk scenario. How can we create a win-win or a zero risk scenario over the phone when someone says, I need to think about it. They don't want to commit to the appointment because they're afraid it's going to be a wrong decision. I'm going to give you one really simple answer. Okay, sure, no worries. Here's what I'm going to do. Since we're already on the phone together, what I'm going to do is just pencil you in. That way, you won't lose your time or your spot because we book out and book out really far. And so the only availabilities that I have are actually going to be this Tuesday. I do have an opening, a last minute opening at 6 o'clock, or I have one on Thursday at 7. That's the last ones that I have available. Which one do you prefer I pencil you into so you can check to make sure you're going to be able to attend? Does that make sense what I just did there? Okay. So if I'm saying it's a win-win or there's zero risk, or in fact, there's no commitment, I'm just going to pencil you in. This is a way that I can then take that objection of, I need to think about it, instead of going aggressively, well, what is it you need to think about? Right? Like that can be kind of aggressive. Before we can whip that one out, we need to have established a relationship with this person.
Right.
That's when that's going to be where we can pull that out in the sale, only if you've established a relationship. But right now, they're way up here. We haven't established a relationship yet, right? Okay, that's this, all right? So need to think about it on sales. You're sitting down with them, you've gone through the process, you've done all the things, and now we need to think about it. And we're over here on the sale. So you can obviously do the thing, sure, totally understand. What do you need to think about? You can do that, you can flip it back on them, or you can go, sure, totally understand. So since we're both here, why don't we just think about it together? What's your main concern? Pretty cool, right?
Are you gonna write these down somewhere?
I'll type them, but I want you guys to write them because I need you to write it in your own words because you're going to practice it in your own words. Okay, so sure, first thing you're going to do is agree. We're going to eliminate buts from anything. So I do not want you guys to say but why don't you consider this? But why don't you think about that? But it's a negative connotation. I don't want you to do it. Okay, so go ahead and agree. Sure. We're here together. Let's think together. I mean, I would just go as bold as to say, you know what? 2 heads are better than 1. Let's think together. Because I would say that, right? 2 heads are better than 1. Let's think together. What do you need to think about? Or what's your main concern? Okay, over here, we're going to talk about pencil. Well, we're going to talk about booked up. We're booked up. Don't want you to miss. Since I have you on the phone, pencil you in. You can always change it. Ah. There you go. Okay. You 3, boom. You're going to have to come over here. Haley, you're going to have to go over there probably. No, you won't have to go over there.
Yeah.
You just have to stay in the front. Carry you to school, Mr. Daniel. Go over there. Okay. This part right here. We are doing objection training. Here's how it's going to work. And I will do it right now. And I'm going to do this with Miss Haley. And then Miss Lexa, Miss Weston will work it, okay? So Miss Haley,
Yes, ma'am.
tell me that.
Okay, I need to think about it.
Okay, sure. So right now we're actually really booked up, and I don't want you to miss out on getting a lesson scheduled. So since I have you on the phone, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pencil you in. The next availability I have is actually going to be on Tuesday at 7 or Thursday at 6. Which one works better for you? I mean, you can always change it if it doesn't work. So which one works better?
Okay, Tuesday at 7 works.
Perfect. That's what I want you to practice. Okay. So you two are going to practice, Lexon, Miss Wesson, y'all are going to practice right now. And then after that, you two are going to practice, and then you two are going to practice. So everybody practices with each other. All right, Mr. Daniel, tell me anything about it.
I just need to think about it.
Sure. Okay. Well, we're here together right now. And, you know, like I always say, 2 heads are better than 1. So let's think about it together. What's your main concern? That's what you're going to practice. Okay. So you two are going to practice, and then you two are going to practice, and then you're going to crisscross until everybody's done it with each other. Ready, go.
I couldn't see you.
Sorry, ma'am, I was writing it down. All right,
Since we're here together, let's
I need to think about it.
together. What's your main concern?
Sure, I understand. I tell you what though, since we're booking up really fast, I'm pretty
Going to
booked
be
now. I actually have only a couple of places I could put you in. Why don't we go ahead and just
We're here
pencil
together.
you in so you don't lose that spot? I have
Okay.
Tuesday at 7 or Thursday at 6. Which of those times works best for you?
Thursday at 6.
Okay, well, since
Okay,
you-
great. I have you down. And then you can always change it if that doesn't work for you.
Okay, no problem. Thank
Let's
you.
think it through
Sorry.
together.
Who am I
Okay.
facing? You're facing each other now. Okay, got it. Go.
Flip
I have to
roles.
think about
Everybody
it.
practices twice.
Okay, I got you. No problem. So let me do
Okay,
this.
that's all I
Since we are
understand.
booking up
Now,
fast,
since we're
I
here
can go
together,
ahead and pencil
actually
you
work
in
on it together, so
and
that's fine.
um
Since we're here together,
since
what's
okay,
your
now I
main
forgot.
concern?
So
Should
No, you're
it's-
fine.
since we are booked up, I don't want you to miss. So since I have you on the phone, we can just go ahead and put you down, and then later on you can change it. I have Monday
Okay.
at 5 or
Since
Wednesday
you're
at
here
6. Do
already
you know
and
which
I'm
one works
here,
best for you?
Wednesday at
sometimes you better
Wednesday
than
at 6?
one,
Okay, I'll put you
let's
down for
think it
that.
through together. What do you need to think about? Or, I mean, what's your main concern?
I have to think about it.
Okay,
Fine,
I get
go.
that. So
Okay,
what we're
sure,
gonna do,
for
because
sure.
we are getting pretty booked up and I don't want you to miss out on the lesson. I can go ahead and put you down for an appointment right now, and then you can always change it later on if you need to. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Right here.
Okay, great. So does Wednesday at 6 work for you or Thursday at 7?
Then I can't help that.
Let me do Thursday at 7.
Okay, great.
One thing I want everybody to do, we're gonna do this again. I need you to say this. Sure, I understand. I need you to verbally agree with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so sure, I understand. Well, since we're here together, let's go ahead and take a moment and think about this together. What's your main concern? And I want you to change your tone, okay? Tonality is huge, all right? So Miss Lexa, I'm gonna go with you right now. So you're gonna tell me you need to think about it.
Oh,
Just say you need to think.
I need to think about it.
Sure, okay, I definitely understand. Since you see how I did that, like I went, now watch the difference in tone, so you need to think about it.
I need to think about it.
Sure, so I definitely understand. Right now, we're all booked up, but do you see the difference in tone?
Mm-hmm.
Robot versus empathetic.
Right, we are trying to grab and hold on to empathy and hold it like it's a bubble. I want everybody to visualize that right now. Anytime somebody gives you an objection, you're holding a bubble. Okay, if I'm holding a bubble in my hands, I'm trying not to get it to pop. So that means I'm moving slow, right? Because if I move fast, what happens to that bubble?
Here you go.
It's gone, it pop, it pops. But I've got a bubble in my hands. I'm gonna move slow with it. I'm gonna make sure I control my breathing, and I'm going to pace myself. Right, so tonality is huge. All right, Mr. Austin, tell me you need to think about it.
I just need to think about it.
Sure. Okay. I totally understand. Well, hey, we're here together. So let's just work on this together. What is it that is your main concerns? Do you notice my face change? Right? You guys don't have to worry about his face as much because you're not doing Zoom calls. You do have to worry about it though, because it comes through and how you sound. If you talk with a smile and you're really up here, that's awesome. Woo! When you bring it down and you're like, sure, I totally understand. You still need to have those same expressions. When you're here, they need to see it on your face. So this go around, when you practice, I need your face to change to show your empathy. And I need you to be able to do that here and now with each other. Okay, ready? Go.
I need to think about it.
Sure, I completely understand. Well, since I have you on the phone, I know that we're pretty booked up, but why don't I go ahead and just pencil you in for a time? You can change it at any time. I have a couple of times available for you. I have Tuesday at 7 or Thursday at 6. Which of those times do you think works best for you?
Tuesday at 7.
Okay, great. Let me just put you down for that time.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I can definitely
I need to
understand
think
that.
about it.
Well, you're here and
It's
I'm
fine.
here.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Sometimes two heads are better
Okay,
than
I
one.
completely
So
understand.
why don't
I
we think
since
about
we
it
are a
when we do
little
together?
booked up, I can go ahead and
what
put you down
can
for
I
a
ask
time, and you
what's,
can
like,
later
the
on
biggest
change it
difference in
whenever you
that?
want. I have Monday at 5 or Thursday at
I
7.
need to think
Do
about
you know
it.
which one works best for you?
Sure.
Thursday at 7.
Okay, sure, I understand for sure. Well, you're already here and I'm already here. So
Hello.
let's just hang out together.
I need to think about it.
Sure,
Let's just
sure.
figure
Yeah,
something
I get that. We just are booking up really fast right now, and I really want to make sure that you're not going to miss
Yep,
out on a
take your time.
lesson.
out.
So
Okay, sure,
what I
understand. Well,
want
you're
to
already
do
here
while I
and I'm
have
already
you
so
here
let's
is
just
kind
hang
of
out
pencil
together
you
and
in
talk
for
about
a
it right now.
lesson on either like
So what's your
Wednesday at
biggest concern?
6 or
Hold me back
Thursday
right
at 7. So that way you don't miss your chance to get a lesson, and you can also change it whenever you need to. Do you know
Okay,
which one works best for you?
let me just do the Thursday one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great.
Well, I can totally understand that. Since
Alright.
you're here and I'm here.
I need to think
sometimes
about it.
two heads are better than one, so.
Sure, ma'am. I can completely understand that. But I'll tell you what, since I have you on the phone and our times are kind of filling up fast, I'd really like to just pencil you in for a time, which you could change at any time. So right now, I have a couple of time slots available for you. How is either Monday at 6 or Wednesday at 5? Which of those times work best for you?
Wednesday at 5 works best.
Okay, great. I'll pencil you in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did everybody get through it? You guys got one more. That was twice through, right?
It was. We need.
They still have to go.
Go, go, go.
I need to think about it.
Okay, I completely understand. So we are booking up a little bit fast. I don't want you to miss. So since I have you here, I can just go ahead and pencil you down, and you can always change it at any time.
Okay, great.
I need to think about it.
Sure, I understand
guys
that.
okay picturing this?
So we are actually booking up pretty fast, and I really want to make sure you're able to come in for that lesson. So what we can do while I have you on the phone is I can go ahead and schedule a lesson, and then later on, if you do need to change it down the road, you can do that.
You guys want to take a picture of that?
I wrote it
down.
down.
I wrote it down.
All right. Okay, so. This is the difference between having a click on or not. It just is. Okay, there's two different types of practice. Solo and there's partner. Solo is when you spend time working on your craft, getting better at what you're doing. Partner is when you pair up with somebody and you do it just back and forth. Now, I have a really important question to ask you. Someone who works out 2 times per week, let's just say they did 25 squats. They did it 2 times a week. How many squats would they do in the week?
15.
Okay, so they get 50 done. What if a person worked out 5 times per week and did 15 squats. Less than this, did 15 squats a day. How many squats would that person have had during a week? We got more repetitions. One of the interesting things is that there's there's this old thing where people used to debate who was stronger, farmers or bodybuilders. It was like this big thing a long time ago. And so what they found was is that farmers didn't look like bodybuilders, but they were strong. And the reason why they were strong is guess how many days a week they took off from farming?
0.
They couldn't take any off. So every day they were lifting hay bales. They were pushing things, pulling things, and they built strength. Now, not the defined, I'm going to cut and fast so that I can have all my muscles rippling underneath my shirt kind of bodybuilder. What they found was is that consistent repetition over and over made these people super strong. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is you don't have to do it a lot, but 2 times what we just did, working this solo, which we didn't even do solo. If you did it solo and then you came in and right before your shift got started, you partnered up, or right whenever you partnered up with somebody and you just fired it off back and forth. Okay, that's what I want you to do. When you get someone to tell you no, you have an objection that comes up and you cannot close the deal. You need to write it down. You need to tell Ms. Chaffin, and you must drill it. You must drill it. Okay. Like if I kept getting tapped out in sparring or in grappling matches with a choke, what do you think I should start working on? Defending the choke. I wouldn't just go, you know what, I'll get it better next time. Oh, you know what, it was just my opponent. What happens after you've had the same objection 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and you can't close it? Is it your opponent, or is it potentially you that you need to get better at that objection?
You.
It's you. So going back to that extreme ownership, right? So I need you guys to be very conscious of the objections, not because you're going, oh, Miss Chaffin, I screwed up again. I didn't get this one because now we know what it is that you need to work on. It's no different than me going, I'm going to show up to your grappling match, but while I'm sitting in the corner coaching you, I'm going to be like this. I can't see what you're doing. And you're just going to have to call out to me whenever you feel like you're in danger of getting tapped out.
Too late.
You're going to be like, you're defending the choke. Oh, it's too late. I can't see it. But what if you're like, I'm seeing it happen live in real time. I can give you feedback and I can coach you through it. And that's what Ms. Chaffin's job is to coach you through it and give you feedback real time. So we're going to start implementing some of these things. That was part of the 90 days I was talking about was feedback. So this is step 1. So you have somebody today that doesn't follow through, whatever, you need to take note of what that is, and then it needs to be drilled.
What we'll do is we'll implement that into our meeting before the meeting.
Yes,
We'll partner up and do that.
sales huddle.
And you guys are really super good at slacking me, like if it's a conversation type thing, objection, hey, what should I say to this person? I need you to write it down if it's verbal.
Can you hear it or no? She said you need
I said that you guys on this side are really good about, texting me or slacking me and say, hey, there's this conversation with this person. What should I say back? I need you guys to do that if it's verbal. Like if that happened verbally and you didn't know what to say, write that down and slack that to me too.
Cool. Okay, you guys. Good training today. Give me one thing that you got that was really valuable out of today's training. Everybody has one thing. Come on.
Don't pop the bubble.
Don't pop the bubble. I like it.
I just like
Oh,
Oh.
Mr. Daniel stole mine.
So, okay, here's how it goes. 1, 2, back to lesson. Okay, yes,
Just
ma'am.
the mini script to help with the objection.
The playbook. This is going in the playbook. Okay,
yeah, the word track.
okay, cool. Miss Wesson.
She was.
I was going to say the bubble. I don't have anything else. He
All
stole
right,
it.
cool. Well,
The tonality with the need to think about it.
cool. Tonality.
We are here together. Just that phrase.
All right, awesome. Okay, you guys, give yourself some energy, everybody. Dismissed. Bye, ma'am.
Battery 60%.
We're just reviewing. Does he know?
I told him we were starting.
Can you grab him, Mr. Austin? Thank you, sir.
Started coming as I tried to walk out.
Great. Hi.
Did you get my text?
All right. Okay, so we're going to go back over this and then we're going to dive into a couple more loops and objections and things like that. So what's the C stand for, guys? Clarify. Give me an example of clarifying, Mr. Austin.
What made you come in today?
Great. What's the L stand for?
Label.
Label. Okay, Mr. Daniel, give me an example of labeling.
So it sounds like blank, blank, blank is your problem.
Yes. Okay, what's O?
Overview.
Overview. Miss Katie, give me an example of overview.
What have you tried so far to accomplish this?
Okay, good. S. Sell the vacation. I'm not going to have you give an example because that has a lot. What's E?
Explain away concerns.
Explain away concerns. Okay, and what's R? Reinforce the decision. Okay, so again, this framework mainly hugely influenced by Alex Hormozy's framework and how he sold tons and tons of programs for fitness. But then also we have some other influences that are in it, especially when it comes to these 2 points, the selling of the vacation, explaining away the concerns. So how did you do this past week with the new 3 points?
Oh, you did great. Worked pretty well.
Resulting in sales?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. Did you get to use it? No, we didn't have any Champ Fit show, right? Okay, so
I was gonna use it today.
that's right. So we're going to work on explaining away the concerns. So a couple of things that we've already worked through. No spouse, which just really is a delay. So let me just overview this by saying this is a delay tactic. Okay, what's another one? Another delay tactic that sometimes people delay the decision.
Gotta look at my budget.
Okay, budget. Gotta look at whatever. I gotta look at my calendar. I gotta look at my budget. I gotta look at whatever. It's just delaying the decision. Another one is I need to think about it. Okay, so we worked on a couple of different ways to say this and to really work off of both the no spouse and the think about it. So what's one thing that you learned about when they're saying, I need to talk to my husband, I need to talk to my wife? Somebody take me through the sequence.
Okay, does your husband know that you're here tonight?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And, is he on the same page as far as, like, 'cause I know your goal is looking to, get fit and lose some weight. Is he on the same page with about supporting you throughout your journey?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And how do you feel about the classes? How did you feel out there tonight about the program?
Oh, I loved it.
Okay, awesome. So, would there be anything else that would be holding you back from getting started today?
I need to talk to my husband.
Okay. And would that just be about the time commitment, the finances, exactly what do you need to talk about?
Okay, so you're going good there, but remember, we're going to let the husband take the blame. So what do you think he would have a problem
That's right.
with starting? So that was good. The first two, we just got to pull it into that one right there. Okay, so I need to think about it. Throw it at you.
Okay. I can totally understand needing to think about it and everything like that. You're here right now, and I'm also here, and we're here together, and I find that two heads are often better than one. So why don't we think this through together? What's your main concern about getting started today?
Very good. So making sure you can go on that loop. I'm going to give you guys another one too, depending upon your comfort level and the rapport that you've built. So remember, all of this is also based off of the rapport that you've built with that person. If you say some of these things, they can be they can be taken as sarcastic if you say it in a sarcastic way, which is going to pull people away and result in like a non-sale happening. But let's do the think about it. And this is the rocking chair close. Also something I read, but just stuck in my head, the rocking chair close. So essentially the rocking chair close, the way that goes like this, is when someone says that they need to think about it, especially if they deflect after that first one. They're just like, well, no, I just need to go home. I don't make decisions on the same day, right? I don't make decisions on the same day. So then you just you go into this rocking chair close. So if I'm going, if you told me that you weren't going to make decisions on the same day, I would say something along the lines of, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, but can I just be honest with you just for a second? A lot of times we have these grand intentions of going home and thinking about it, but honestly, I don't really know of a decision where I've gone home, sat in my rocking chair, stared at a wall, and contemplated the decision before. Normally what ends up happening is I think that I'm going to think about it, but I get in my car, I drive home, the dogs have to get taken care of, I gotta take care of stuff for my son, dinner comes along, and then I end up in the same place, but a week later. And then I think to myself, gee, I just don't have enough time to fit it into my schedule now. Maybe at some point there will be another perfect opportunity for me to get started. But the reality is the perfect opportunity never happens. So instead of you going home and sitting in a rocking chair and staring at a wall, which both of us know probably isn't going to happen, tell me what's really going on. What's really holding you back? Pretty cool?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the rocking chair close is stare at a wall. Notice also, anytime we have one of these closes or these things, we're creating imagery in the mind to help this person, right? So, we're not gonna go home. We're not gonna sit in a chair and stare at a wall. What's really gonna happen? So then you go over reality. Okay, so the reality is, and I just use my own personal example. You can use whatever, but the reality is these are the things that come to my head. As soon as I go home, I'm taking care of dogs, a kid, and then chores around the house. That's my thing. And then by the time I get back to it, it's too late, right? So we want to tell them what's actually gonna happen. It's too late. Life happens, and I never got started on the thing that I wanted to start. So this will work especially well for the ladies that finally made the decision to come in. They're here. Now the other thing I want to talk about is that it kind of borders, when we have someone that's on this delay, the other thing is that usually when someone is delaying a decision is because the decision-making process in their life has been filled with negative experiences. So in all actuality, they've either had negative decision-making, which has caused them to have this pain, whatever the pain is, right? Negative decisions. Or they second-guess themselves. They're not sure that they are confident enough to make a decision, or they don't know how to make a decision. So I'm going to come back to this in a second because this is going to give y'all clarity on how to make decisions, because you're going to teach them how to make a decision. Okay, and there's a really easy framework that I've learned how to make a decision, and I've utilized that a lot lately, and it's eliminated a ton of procrastination in my life, a ton. And I didn't even realize how much procrastination I had until I started applying this framework, and I realized that for me, it's because I've made a lot of decisions, negative decisions in my life that I wasn't happy with, that then resulted in me second-guessing myself, which has then resulted in me not making a decision. And so once I learned the framework and I started applying it to my life, decisions became a lot faster. In the last month, I've made more decisions than I've made in 2 years and has like propelled us forward?
A few of them, and I could say that you have made a lot of decisions.
Made a lot of decisions, yes. Okay, so let's get back over here. So the rocking chair close, okay? So the way that you started off, I'm gonna do it again so you can hear it again. So the way that you would start it off is you're gonna have that honesty moment, okay? So that's how you're gonna dump into it. So can I be honest? Can we be honest? Another way you could say this is you could say, it's okay if I get real with you for a second. Like, however your phrase is, like, it's okay if we have a heart-to-heart for a second. Like, let's just scoot this way, okay? They know that we're gonna do the pitch. You know that they're gonna do the pitch. Okay, let's just, can we take a second and just, can I talk to you honestly for a second? That's how you're gonna drop into it. The reality is that we all say that we're gonna go home, we're gonna think about it. But in all actuality, we're probably not gonna go sit down in a rocking chair and stare at a wall and contemplate this decision for hours, right? And you're gonna get them to agree. Yeah, you're right. What really is gonna happen is we're gonna leave here, we're gonna have the intention of thinking about it, but then life's gonna happen. The kids are gonna need dinner. The dogs are gonna need to get taken care of. Something in your house is gonna need attention. So you're gonna have to start going through the list. What's life like? The list. And then you're gonna hit the reality part, and then you're gonna go back and you're gonna say, and all those things are gonna happen, and we had an intention to actually think about it and take action on it. But really what happens is the rest of life. And so we end up in the same place that we are now, wanting the same thing that we want, but not taking action on the thing. So instead of doing that whole dance, let's just go ahead and make the decision now. So what's really bothering you about this? What can I help you with? How can we get you started? Notice also that I gave like 2 or 3 different questions on the end because I don't know what's gonna hit them right. So I say something like, so what's the real thing? What can I help you with? How can we get you started? Okay, so rocking chair close, another way that we can.
It just weirded me out because we got to the same.
Yeah, y'all are both saying the same
I
thing.
was like,
So.
I help me remember. It's like, oh, she just said it.
Yeah, so this works really well with the getting to be honest, especially after the second deflection. So like, no, I really need to go home and I need to think about it. So that way you're not asking the same thing twice or saying the same thing twice. Okay, so let's hop over here. So we're gonna go through the decision-making frameworks. That's gonna be next. All right. A lot of people don't know how to make decisions. It's not that they don't want to make a decision, they don't know how to make a decision. Okay, so here's how to make a decision. And you're not gonna go up to him and say, listen, you don't know how to make a decision, I'm gonna teach you how to make a decision. So you're not gonna do that. I'll tell you how to enter into this framework, but I'm just gonna teach it to you first. Okay, so the first thing is, it has to do with belief. And I'm gonna say it. Okay, do you believe it will help with whatever the pain is, or challenge, or circumstance, or for you personally, you could insert like goal, right? So like, do you believe that this thing will help with getting you closer to your goal or achieving your goal? And if that's the case, you continue in the decision-making process. So this is the first tier. The second is, do you feel the process, system, program, step-by-step instruction guide will help you achieve the outcome? Okay, and then I'll put this back into the karate framework for kids and then for the Champ Fit as well. But I think this is an important way. Do you have access to funds or know someone who does? And the final question is, do you want to do business with these people? Or person. I'll just put that in quotes. This is how you make decisions and how you can speed up your decision-making process and not second guess yourself. Because if you can cover all 4 of these bases and you can go in this order, then you don't have to think about whether or not you're making a good decision. This is the criteria for making a good decision. This is it right here. Okay, so do you believe it will help with whatever the pain is? So do you believe it's going to help you? Do you believe that what I've shown you today is going to help you lose weight? Yes or no? They're going to say yes, right? Do you feel that the process will help you achieve the outcome? So another way to say this would be, can you see how these 3 systems with, how we're going to mentor you, how we're going to help hold you accountable, how we're going to provide the training and the workout for you is going to help you get to your dream goal of losing 20 pounds? Yes, it's going to help me. Get them to say yes or no. Do you have access to funds or know somebody who does? Like, this is legit. They either can pay for the program or they can't pay for the program, right? Like, we've already gone through breaking it down. So you would not do this framework unless you've already broken it down and you've already gone through the pricing and objections, and now they're just saying, gosh, I don't know. I just don't know if I can do it. Yeah. They should be able to say, they should be able to go yes or no, like, yes, I can pay $100 or $200 down or $400, whatever it is. Or do you know someone who does? Because sometimes I know for certain things in my life that have made a huge impact as an adult, I had to ask other people for money that I didn't have. Because it was going to mean something and it was going to help me get to what I needed to and where I needed to go. And I had to eat my pride so that way I could ask for that and have somebody who could help me with that. Or I had to go get a credit card because I needed it. And it's helped me get where I need to go. And that's no different. Do you want to do business with these people? So ultimately, and if you were framing this, you would say, the last thing is if they say yes to this, they have access. Okay, so the last thing is, do you actually want to show up and see me every day? Now, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me no, but, well, maybe just a little. But, do you want to come here and see me every day? Because, you're going to get to see me. And if they say yes, then say, well, we've just made the decision. Let's go ahead and get you sized up for your uniform. Or, well, we've just made the decision together. Do you want to use a Visa or MasterCard? Right? Like, you ask them that closing question. This is how you make a quality decision.
So could we do this when they say I need to think about it?
You should exhaust the other ones first. This is your last one. Okay. This is the end all be all. We're going to help them make a decision because you've already figured out it's not price. They keep saying they need to think about it. You've gone through the rocking chair. You've gone through the other things. And it's just not that, right? So now how do we work through the rest of these things? Well, we got to go through these different things. Now, as you guys are making decisions, you can apply the same decision-making process to everything. And if you do, you'll be able to speed up the process in which you make decisions, and you will stop yourself from second-guessing yourself about decisions. Because maybe you make decisions, but then you spend a lot of time after you've made the decision wondering if you made the right decision, which is still the same amount of energy as not making the decision at all. It really is. You make the decision, you wait around and you're like, gosh, should I have made that decision? And then you're in this emotional, mental, spiritual state of thinking about this decision. Instead of making the decision and moving on to the next decision and the next one and the next one and the next one, which is what I've been doing lately. And it's very freeing. It's so freeing to be able to do that and not have to constantly second guess yourself or stay stuck in one of these right here, okay? So hopefully that helps you personally. So now we need to actually apply it in real life by practicing it in the role play. decision-making process. So here's what I want you to do right now, because it's one thing to say this, but the reason why I was able to do it so easily is because I do this all the time now. I can just do this all the time. So on your sheet of paper, in your lonesome, not anybody staring over your shoulder, I want you to think about what's the decision that you need to make. Just pick one, and I want you to do this process right now on your paper. Okay, so I want you to go through, and I want you to think about, it's a decision that you have to make, or it's something that you've been contemplating, that you've been putting off. And it could have happened today, it could be something that's a big thing, but you have a solution. So here's solution A, here's solution B. We're gonna do this for solution A right now. This is how I usually do it, is I actually have two solutions. I say, what if I did this, and what if I did that? And I go through the process with solution A all the way down, and then I do the process with solution B. And then from that, I can decide which one's the better one. Because sometimes there's not just one solution. In this case, when we're selling, we are the only solution. But in life, when you're using this for your own personal self, you know, you need to have two. Okay, so you're not telling anybody what this decision is. I just want you to go through this exercise with me, and I'm gonna give you prompts as we do this, okay? So think about your problem that you have right now, write down your problem. The thing that you want to solve, okay, whatever that thing is. Something that you've been delaying, something that you need to figure out. All right, now I want you to come up with two solutions, and I want you to write down your solution A and your solution B. What are the two solutions that just pop up in your mind right now? Don't think about whether or not it'll work, just think about the two options, the two solutions, and write down option A and option B. Now we're gonna go and we're gonna start with option A, okay? So option A, do you believe that option A will help solve this problem? All I want you to do is write yes or no. Will it solve the problem? Write yes or no. Okay? And once you do that, we're going to go to the next part. Do you feel that the process that is presented in option A, whatever that process is, whether it's your process or someone else's process, do you feel that the process in option A will help you achieve the goal, the outcome that you desire? So I'm going to put this word desire here. Yes or no? If it's a no at any point, you abandon A. You don't go through the whole process. Okay, then you go to B, right? Then you start working on B. Because if it's a no, there's no point. Like this is a yes, continue. Yes, continue. Yes, continue. If it's no, then you have to choose the other option, okay? Or you come up with a C, right? You could do C as well, but I like to. Do you have access to funds or know someone who does? Or do you have access to time or know someone who does? Because sometimes it's not about money, it's about time. And if that's a yes, do you want to, if it's a business, if it's like you have to interact with people, do you want to interact with these people? Do you feel comfortable interacting with these people?
What if you don't know the people yet?
If you don't know the people, then you know some reference of the people, I would imagine. Something. If you don't, maybe that's what your next step is to research that. From photos, videos, whatever it is, you gotta from what you know about the people, do you want to do business with these people? Or from what other people say about these people, do you want to do business with these people, right? Or do you want to interact with these people? Because ultimately, you can't know every single thing about every decision. You can only make the decision based off the information that you know, which is one of the reasons why I try to know a lot of information, is because I want to be right about my decisions. But if at any point this doesn't work, then you go to option B, and then you go down these steps with option B. Okay? All right, so you've decided you need LASIK. Did you solve a problem?
No, I got no's, so I need to go to C's.
You need to go to C's. Did you solve a problem?
No.
No, so you need to go to C as well.
You guys picked a really hard one.
They probably did. That's fine. But that's the whole point, is when you start going A, it doesn't work. Okay, B doesn't work. Okay, C, you just keep going until you find the one that does. Or you change your question. Because sometimes that has to happen. I realized for a lot of things, for me, it wasn't about the task that needed to be done. It was about the who needed to do the task. So I was asking the wrong question. I was asking the question about, well, what process would make this work instead of going, who can make this work? See, it's totally different. And so sometimes you have to do that with your decisions. But in any case, I love this framework. If you guys want to take a picture of that really quick, I'll let you go ahead and do that. Unless you wrote it down really well, which you should have. But yeah. As we normally do, what was something that you got out of today's training? We're going around the room. So, Mr. Daniel, why don't you start us off?
I like the decision-making process. I just think that's a real game changer.
Sweet. Ms. Chaffin?
I like the rocking chair close, but I can see where you would definitely have needed to have rapport before you.
Yes, gotten down to it. Yeah, for sure. Mr. Austin?
Sitting in the rocking chair.
The rocking chair. All right, you guys. We'll keep rocking it out there as you sell. And hopefully this is adding to your arsenal. So, oos on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oos.